Okay, and we're back, and the next conversation on a bench is with one of our former guests. His name is Les Mess, and we are so excited to talk to him and hear a little bit about his journey out of homelessness and how Denver Rescue Mission played a role in that. So Les, thank you for coming in and agreeing to do this.
Absolutely, no problem,
Yeah.
for sure. So, I don't know, where do you want me to start? I guess with getting homeless and getting
That'd be
to the
great.
point. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it was in September of 2023. I had a situation happen where there was a violent crime at the place where I was living at. And so on short notice, I found myself being in a position where I no longer had a place to stay.
Wow.
And being that I'm an amputee, I'm middle-aged, and I'm trying to retrain myself into the workforce, I was with limited funds and I had no place to go. I had depended upon family as I went through the procedure with the amputation, and I didn't want to sit there and keep burdening them. So I was like, well, look, I'm going to have to end up hitting the streets. I was blessed in the fact that I knew ahead of time that I was going to be homeless by a couple of weeks. So I was able to do research, and Denver Rescue Mission was out there. It's a name that's been around for a long time here in the Denver area. I can remember, I'm a native, so I can remember even when I was a kid driving past Jesus Saves.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, okay, they have a place where I can get set up here. And so at the beginning of October, I went down to the Jesus Saves facility downtown, and within a couple of days found myself transferred up to the 48th Street shelter. And I was there for about 19 months until I finally got housing. So, and during that time period, I was able to work on my mental health, work on my physical health, because I was still pretty deteriorated.
Right.
And it just put me in a healthier position. And I can't imagine, these resources are so valuable, I can't imagine trying to do that on the streets.
Yeah.
Because I'm not built for that.
Yeah.
So, and I think a lot of the men that are in the shelter system, they're not built for it either.
Right.
So when you have the opportunity to go to a place where you have consistent housing as you're trying to get to the point where you can transfer out and get your own place, it's so critical.
Yeah.
You know? And so when there was an opportunity to come and talk, I wanted to, because I think it's important that anybody that considers volunteering with their time or donating money, they need to realize that there's success out there.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people have, a misconception. Hey, these folks, they're going to come in, they're going to take these resources, and they're going to do whatever with them and not use them to help themselves.
Yeah.
And it's just not the case.
It's
And
not.
I'm proof of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
when you came to Denver Rescue Mission, how were you greeted? How did that feel when you walked in?
Oh, it was fantastic. When I actually got on the streets, I hadn't been downtown for a while, so right when I hit downtown, the first thing that hit me was like the sights, the smells, and I was just like, wow, okay, I'm homeless, and it was like an urban jungle, and I mean, I was apprehensive, to say the least. I was suffering from PTSD, obviously, from the violent incident that happened to make me homeless. So I was already in a really bad mindset. So when I was able to go in there, I mean, the staff was ultra friendly, calming.
Yeah.
You're out in the middle of this chaos, and you're like, oh gosh, what am I going to do? I don't know what I'm going to do next. I'm just adrift here. They were able to say, hey, we're here for you. Let's get you registered. Let's get you the stuff that we need to get you into our system, meals and a bed. And I mean, that security in and of itself is amazing.
Yeah.
When you're in a position where you feel like you have nothing, and a lot of folks don't have anything.
Right.
To be able to say, hey, I've got this one small thing, that's fantastic. And I mean, at the time period, at the beginning of October in 2023, it was still kind of nice out, so it wasn't too cold. But I mean, within a week, if I'm not mistaken, it was within a week of being at the 48 shelter, the temperature started getting down near freezing, and it was rainy and cold, and I was like, oh, if I'd have been on the streets, that would have been so miserable.
Yeah.
It really would have. So I felt secure. In the minute that I transferred from downtown into the 48th Street shelter, I had lots of people that were just, the front staff at They started knowing you by name,
Right.
asked how you were doing. So, that makes you feel human.
Yeah.
Yeah. And nobody was looking down on you. Case management was there. Peer navigation was there. You had chaplains there.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of things, whether it was the physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual things were there. You could start getting things addressed right away.
Yeah.
And fortunately, next door in the 48th Street shelter, the Stout Street Clinic, which is part of the partnership with the Colorado Coalition of the Homeless, was there. So, there's health, there's all kinds of things, there's support there, and it's through donations and volunteers that these things come about, and it's critical, and it helped me, it saved me.
Yeah. And, I want to go back to something you said earlier about the fact that when you entered Denver Rescue Mission, it took 19 months to leave homelessness.
It did.
One of the things we've been talking about, it seems like in almost every conversation, is once you enter into homelessness, it takes a long time to get out. So can you maybe talk to that journey and why, from your perspective, it takes so long?
It's the system's very frustrating. So in my position, physically, I wasn't able to do. I was a factory and construction worker by trade, and physically, I just couldn't do that anymore.
Right.
So one of the goals that we needed to help establish getting some kind of income was to start working on SSI. Now, because I had done a lot of under the table work when I was younger, I didn't have the quarters in to get SSDI.
Right.
So it took a long time, and it takes at least roughly 12 months is what it took me, and I hear that that's standard for individuals to go through the process of getting verified that they have their disability, to go back through and say, hey, well, this person's going to have a difficult time re-entering the workforce, so we need to help them. So that's being in limbo that entire time.
Yeah.
So, fortunately, I had SNAP, so I had the ability to get some food, which as a diabetic, it's really helpful because inside the shelter, obviously, you have to cater to the majority of the people. So there's a lot of foods that are starchy and high carb, which isn't so good for me.
Yeah.
So, I was able to supplement with some food that would allow me to eat more healthily. But there's a process you got to go through, make sure all your paperwork. When I went homeless, I had everything except for my birth certificate.
Wow.
So, the staff instantly got on that and said, and I even got the money because I didn't have cash on me. They were like, well, here's some money, go down, get your birth certificate, which I did. But it's a whole process that you have to go through. And the biggest thing is time. Putting in the paperwork, working with lawyers. There's lawyers that come down and donate their time down at the rescue mission. So I started working with a lawyer. I had tried filling out SSI previously, but because I was working, even though it was really small amounts of money, they were like, look, we can't help you. You need to not have income before they're going to accept you. So I was starting at ground zero when I got to the Denver Rescue Mission. And so it took that time. And so that is one of the biggest things. I think a lot of people, they look and they say, well, why are these individuals, whether it's the guys, I'm sure it's the same with the girls at the ladies' shelters, like the Samaritan House and stuff. You've got people waiting to get benefits.
That's right.
So there are people, there's people in all walks of life that are going to take advantage of things or whatnot, but there is a vast majority. Many of the men that I stayed with down there at the shelter, they're waiting for assistance, and it's not like they're not doing anything. They're trying to just get through the system and the red tape that you always hear about, and it's true.
It takes forever, right? And that's what I think so many people don't know is that, right, we live in sort of this, well, why can't we solve that immediately? Well, in
going
systems
homeless,
like this, it's really difficult.
I had a mindset, and I think we talked a little bit about this before we came on. Before I was homeless, I was like many people. I had a mindset of like, just get yourself up there, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And you said it perfectly yesterday, where you said, well, there's sometimes people don't have boots, or even if they have boots, they don't have bootstraps, or they're broken. And so then when you go through it yourself, you're like, this is an eye-opener. So as strange as it is, being homeless was a growth moment there. But when it's said and done, there are so many individuals that are on the streets, families that are on the streets. No one wants to be out there. Nobody wants to experience the cold. I don't know how many of you have not slept in your bed for a while, but actually slept on like concrete. It's miserable. And you don't want to be there. And so having to go through this process, it's hard. And a lot of people they get frustrated, and sometimes I've seen guys give up and just say, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And it's like, really?
Yeah.
It's so sad.
Yeah. Yeah, because once you've lost hope and you've fallen into despair, now it's even harder to move forward,
well,
right?
And so Denver Rescue Mission's hope starts here.
Yeah, hope starts here. That's right.
And
good job.
I can sit there because that message actually stuck with me, and it was
Yeah.
actually something that I felt applied to me.
Yeah.
You know, I was taking advantage of every resource I could get. I was working with the Denver Rescue Mission staff, like the caseworkers and stuff. I was working with the Colorado Coalition of the Homeless. As a matter of fact, I'm still an outpatient there when
Okay.
it comes to like seeing my therapist
Yeah.
monthly. And there was other organizations around town helping with resumes, helping with just paperwork in general, a training for computers. I was doing all kinds of stuff and taking advantage of that. And it's only because there's people out there that are willing to help donate either their time or their resources to be able to give people a hand up to get to the point
Yeah.
that they can get out of the system.
Yeah.
One of the things that you've brought up many times in the past 24 hours is that there's a higher cost for people to be homeless versus getting them
Yes,
housed
yes.
and getting them the resources they need to succeed. And it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, there's minimal amounts of resources that got put in to get me finally up and out of off the streets. And I guarantee you, it's cheaper now, the SSI payments, than it is when I was actually in a bed at the rescue mission.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that costs so much more
Right.
for all of the resources.
Right.
And now I'm able to sit there and live functionally, and I'm off the
Yeah.
streets. There's no issues. And I plan on going upward and onwards from here. So
That's awesome. Yeah, yeah. So, we don't know who's watching this now or who might watch it later when we have it out there. But if there's somebody that's watching that is just entering into homelessness, or maybe they've been homeless for a while, and if they were watching this, what advice would you give them?
I would say first to go down to the Lawrence Street location, which is the Jesus Saves that everybody knows about, and register. And you will get yourself a card. That card is used throughout many of the services throughout the Denver metro area for people experiencing homelessness or in poverty. And hook yourself up, get involved with the system, because they're out there. There's people that are willing to help. And there's organizations like the Denver Rescue Mission that are willing to help. You come on down to Jesus Saves. They will get you what you need to get back out of the streets and back into a place. And I mean, it's true. I'm living proof of that, and I know I'm not the only one. There's plenty of other guys that were there that have left either before or since I was there, that they're in their own place. They're thriving. There's families here right across the street at the facilities here. There are families that are succeeding, and they're getting the help that they need. The kids are going to school. It's a wonderful organization, and so take advantage of it. Take advantage of all of it, because the help's out there. You just got to want to go get it.
Yeah, and maybe a very similar question to that, but maybe with a different audience. So if there's somebody watching this and they have never experienced homelessness, they're learning about it, maybe they're sort of that pull yourself up by your bootstrap sort of thought around homelessness, what would you say to them?
I guess the prime example would be, and I'm not getting political here, but the prime example would be currently what our farmers, there's a lot of farmers that were doing soybean crops.
Right.
And here recently, and traditionally farmers, rural setting folks, and this transfers into people in the suburbs and stuff too, have that attitude of, I'm going to take care of myself. I will pull myself up by my bootstraps. Their whole world got cut out from underneath them, and their entire crops became useless. They can't sell them. And so they're going to need help, financial help, just to sit there and maintain their farms. And they're just a step away from being without a farm and without a place to stay. And there are so many people, young, old, it doesn't matter, guys, gals, whatever demographic you want to talk about, that are a paycheck away from being on the streets. And if you're in your car, you're on the streets. If you're in an RV, you're on the streets. If you're couch surfing, you're technically on the streets. It's just that you're using different resources that are available to you, but you're in that position. So I mean, there's someone that you know, if you yourself aren't experiencing it right now, there's someone that you know that is. And when you put that in perspective, and then you realize that we all need, just like I left a note in there, it might take a village to raise a child, but it takes that same village to support an adult. And all of us run into hard times. Some people don't. If you're blessed and you don't have that, congratulations. But a vast majority of people, they're going to experience that, and they're going to need help. And I think that it's valuable as a society, whether you're looking at it from a Christian perspective, whether you're looking at it from just a society, government or civics perspective. We need to be there for each other. And situations like this, like the Denver Rescue Mission, these are perfect organizations. They've got the experience and the know-how to help people get off the streets and get to where they need to be.
Awesome, man. Well said. Like we should use you in our marketing team. I just want to really thank
Checks
you.
in the mail. No.
Yeah, that's right. I want to thank you for coming out here. I know you had to take some public transportation to get here, but thank you for sitting on the bench.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I mean, I want to be able to pay it forward. I got 19 months help from you all, so that's the least I could do.
Yeah. So thank you very much, and God bless, man.
God bless you as well. Thank you.
All right, and we're gonna go to a video, and then we'll have our next guest on the bench after that.